Hello everyone, I'm Sylvia from Fairlight Tarot. Welcome to my channel. Today I am so excited because this morning I received the deck I Am the Artist Tarot by Monika Clio Sakki. It was a complete surprise because I wasn't expecting it for another couple of weeks, but you know, it was on my doorstep. And so I thought, okay, I've already posted a video this morning, but I thought I'm just going to film another one and I'm going to show you the deck. We're going to have a look at the full walkthrough, and we're also going to have a look at a comparison card by card with the first edition, which was originally called the Sakki Sakki Tarot. We're actually going to have a look at the guidebook and additional cards in this deck. We're going to have a look at a couple of oracle decks I usually pair it with, and a couple of spreads. So I hope it's going to be a lot of fun. Okay, so first of all, the book. I'm very excited about this book because it's, well, as you can see, it's a chunky monkey. It's a really high quality, you can tell, really nice sturdy cover, very nice colors. By the way, there's a story behind this. I follow Monika on her Instagram page, and she said that there was a bit of a misunderstanding or you know, a delay or something like that at the printer. Because of that, we have a bit of a lime color instead of a yellow one. So if you look at the box, there you go, the yellow on the box is slightly different from this kind of yellow, and it's definitely, if you compare the two, this one would definitely feel more like a lime yellow or a lime green. And I think it's absolutely fine. I remember Monika was launching a kind of a survey. She's been extremely active on their Instagram page, and it was really interesting to see the whole thought process that went behind, you know, the creation of this second deck, and also the fact that you know, she was always updating us, and I was one of the very first ones to order her deck. And I remember, just a shout out to Monika, because she is a wonderful person. She's a great creator, and by that I mean that she never let us down whenever there was, you know, maybe a slight delay on a couple of issues at the printer, or you know, for the boxes or something. She always kept us updated. There are so many creators, and let me tell you, as a collector for 35 years, I've been in touch with a lot of indie creators. Monika is one of the most communicative ones. She literally answers all of her messages. She is absolutely lovely. She is not one of the ones that believe that she's the only one out there. She is down to earth, and you know, she's just one of, it feels like she's a friend. She's one of us, and she's just amazing. So I remember she was launching these, you know, service saying, "Are you okay with the lime green?" And everyone was like, "Yeah, we don't care. Just get it over here. We want to see it." And I don't mind. I actually kind of like it. I think that this combination of colors is actually kind of cool. So this is the same concept of the book as the first edition, the Sakki Sakki Tarot. Unfortunately, I don't have that book because when I purchased Sakki Sakki Tarot, I had to, it was already out of print. It was very hard to find. There were people asking for like something like $800 for it, and I just didn't have that kind of money. So I found someone who very graciously accepted to sell me their copy, but they didn't have the full-size guidebook. So I'm very excited to have this one today. So let's have a look. Playing with Symbols, the Essential Companion Book to I Am the Artist Tarot and to Your Creative Journey by Sakki Sakki, Monika Clio Sakki, and Carol Ann Buckley. Now, I have to say, obviously, you might have noticed already that the name is slightly changed. So the original version of the tarot was Sakki Sakki, as per Monika's family name. And now it's actually called I Am the Artist. If you're familiar with the first edition, there is a card which is called the Artist in the first edition as well. Let's have a look at the book. So as I said, chunky monkey, really good quality. It feels really good. The tactile experience is definitely one of the most important ones. I really love the fact that there's you know, there's a bit of a sneak peek about behind the scenes This is definitely Monika's handwriting, because she's been signing this book for me, and I'm very grateful for that. So basically, she says, shuffle your possibilities and let your artist play. And I really like this. She's signed the first deck that I have with that sentence as well. And I have to say, the first time I read that, I thought that was absolutely really clever, because it is all about shuffling possibilities. And she's been a witness to that with her own life, with her own creative process. And I really appreciate that. So we've got here the introduction, the artist statement, and a note from the wordsmith, the creative thread, the evolution, the creative process. I am very excited about this. The systems, the journey, the cards, the readings. There's a couple of spreads as well, which I'm very looking forward to try the rest. So I'm not going to go through the whole book. It's a very unique journey. If you ordered this deck, I think it's still available. But in any case, I will put a link to her website in the description box below. If you have purchased this deck or you want to purchase it, you will see how interesting this book is. The evolution is a part that I'm really looking forward to read and to explore. One of the main differences she was talking about when she was creating the new deck was that she actually wanted to put, heads on top of the characters. And there you go, it says no heads. I am the artist that was born out of no heads, but is fully headed now. No head characters were a big part of the Sakki Sakki Tarot for the artist in each of us. 17 cards had shoulders but no heads. What started as an illustration style choice turned out to carry a call for healing to come. It is a fantastic concept that, we can recognize ourselves into these figures because they don't have a specific head. And now, though, I love the fact that there is this evolution because the new deck does have heads. So, as I said, I'm just gonna have a quick sneak peek. So we've got a few cards. I think the deck is an 80, yes, it's an 80 cards deck. But let's take the star, because this year, 2023, is the year of the star for me. So let's have a look. So you've got 2.5 pages for the star. So I imagine for each major arcana. We got a few keywords: hope, wishes, the beautiful self, one's uniqueness and inspiration. And then we've got from the artist journal, a woman with long eyelashes and a unique hairstyle reaches up to the sky towards a big star above her head. Amazing description of the card. Personal reflection, inner reading, which I always appreciate, because to me, understanding what the creator is thinking when they actually look at a certain specific card and what their thought process is and what their choices are based on, it's absolutely fascinating. Astrological association, Aquarius, thank you, that's me. Kabbalistic association, that's amazing. So this is so much that you can actually focus on, that you can study. I feel that this is a really perfect companion book to this deck. Now, if we go to, for example, a minor arcana, we've got the Seven of Rods, you got the astrological association, you've got a couple of keywords. You also have the part about from the artist journal and inner reading. Amazing, absolutely amazing. Let's have a look, I think, at the back of the book. There's a couple of spreads, the readings, reading the tarot, how to begin, what is your favorite card, keep a tarot journal, spreads. There you go, that's what I wanted. Okay, daily card spread, 3-card spread, a simple, quick and insightful spread. Before you shuffle, assign a different meaning to each position in the spread. Okay, so you can actually choose out of these columns, 3 columns, which is very interesting. I've never seen that before, so it might be interesting to do that. And then the artist path spread, an exploration for seekers of higher creativity. A new game spread. Oh wow, that's with 10 cards. That's absolutely really cool. create your own spread. I really look forward to that. A spread, color inspired spreads as well with the chakras. Chakra color spread. There's more than a couple, as you can see. Color quest spreads in one card. That's amazing. I think that this part is completely new and very interesting and revolutionary. I have seen obviously when you buy a chakras themed deck, obviously you will have something focusing on the chakras. But I think it's the first time that I actually see it in a tarot, in a traditional tarot. And there's an I am the artist tarot worksheet, spin your creative thread. That's amazing. And the rest. Beautiful, beautiful, very, very informative, and that's absolutely what I like to see in a companion book. Really looking forward to study and play with this. But let's have a look at the deck, because we're all here for the cards, right? So I was watching one of Monika's stories on Instagram, and she was mentioning that when you receive it, the right way to open it is to simply lift it, and then it would just slide down. There you go. So there's no need to force it. It is literally, because it doesn't have the thumb cut, which is absolutely fine when the proportions are correct in the box. You don't necessarily need it. To be honest, I have a few tarot decks that came with the thumb cut, and it's still really difficult to open them. You really have to pull the two pieces aside, but in this case you don't have to pull. You lift, and because of the weight of the deck, it just literally slides down. There you go. Very thankful for that. So this is the equivalent of an unboxing for me, because I actually haven't had a look at the tarot yet. So we have like what looks like a an A4. Is it an A4? No, it's slightly bigger. No, it's an A4 sheet. Okay, so let's have a, I don't know how to, oh, okay. So front and back, there you go. Every reading leads back to you. I think that was also in the guidebook. Okay, so perhaps this is because you had the option, whenever you were buying the deck, you had the option to buy just the tarot and not the guidebook. It's kind of a summary of what's in the guidebook. So we had a look at chakras, color quest, which is very interesting, special edition cards. There you go. So we got the observer, the visionary, the inner muse, and yeah, digital art collectibles about the artist. And what's this? So what are the first three things you see? Okay, that's cool. I see a pencil because I write. I'm a writer, of course. Oh, I see a camera because I also love taking photos, and of course I see a suitcase because I love traveling. Well, there you go, that's me in a nutshell. Okay, that's very cool. Let's have a look at the chakra colors. This looks like, oh, okay, so we've got an association between colors and keywords. So crown, I connect; third eye, I see; throat, I express. I should have done from the root upwards, but anyway. Heart, I love; solar plexus, I do; sacral, I feel; root, I am. And the colors, each page has got a color here. Color quest, there you go. So you've got different colors as well. Color quest, you've got gray with accept; white, open; pink, play; red, commit; darkest red, heal; black, own; favorite color. Okay, so you can actually color this in your favorite color. Mine is teal green or teal blue. Monika is actually really nice because she actually answers every single message. So you can, you know, you can comment on her post and she will actually answer. And let me tell you, I think it's underrated, but there's a lot of artists that don't bother doing that. I don't know, it feels like she is really down to earth, and she's really approachable, and she is just really, really cool. And I remember writing to her saying my favorite color is teal blue, and she answered to me like, well, I love me some specificity. I just really do love all the teal colors between the blues and the greens. So that's what I'm gonna color this one with. So the favorite color is Celebrate, of course. Beautiful. So let's have a look. See, true to my word, I haven't actually opened this, so I'm going to open it now. What's the box here? It says don't stop until you surprise yourself. I want. So what I noticed first is the different size of the card. So we've got, this is the original Sakki Sakki, and this is the I Am the Artist. Definitely, you know, and the back we've got the astrological references as well. So this edition, the I Am the Artist, is definitely bigger than the Sakki Sakki. As you can tell, it's you know, it's wider and is also slightly taller. The cardstock is also different. I would say that this one is kind of semi-gloss, the new one is semi-gloss, whereas the first one is definitely matte. And it's got a really nice feel to it, like it's that kind of semi-gloss that has a really good tactile feel to it. So what I'm gonna do, I'm actually going to do a comparison, you know, side by side. Let's see if I can nail the right kind of frame for it. There you go. So as I mentioned before, we've got the artist card. So what I can notice here is that you do have the color quest symbol in here. The rest is the same. You got a key here, and you know the stage is empty because we are the artist. The full, I think the colors are more vibrant. You've got a change in the borders, for example. I really like the way the colors pop out, and you've got a change, so you've got a doggo in here and what looks like a peacock, I think. The Magician is, I think it's very similar. Again, there is this higher kind of contrast in the colors of the I Am the Artist, which I really appreciate. There's a slightly different design in the cup, perhaps, and the wand. This one looks more like a wizard's wand. This one's more like a rod. That's, you know, the suit of the rod, obviously. The High Priestess, the Empress, such a beautiful card. I really love this color palette. The Emperor, the Hierophant, and the Mentor. So basically there's a name change from Hierophant to Mentor, which I really appreciate. It looks like the concept of the character is very similar. There is still, you know, this kind of symbology here, but the face is different. I like the fact that the Mentor is definitely tapping into the teaching skills of the Hierophant. The Lovers, the Chariot. I really like the fact that a few of the characters, I think, have the 3D glasses. The Strength. So change in the background that I really like, because it's the white is actually bringing up the colors. The Hermit. Overall, so far, I can already tell that the new deck is much more colorful. Not so much in the choice of colors, because obviously the Sakki Sakki is very colorful too, but because of the difference and because of the elevated contrast and the saturation of the colors. The Justice card, the Hanged One, Death. I always love this card. I'm really happy that there's not much changes in it. Temperance, Devil, the Tower, the Star. I love the fact that in this star there's a hand pointing up to the sky and a hand pointing down to as above and so below, like the magician does, because he taps into the intuition of the star, but also the skills and the magical essence of the card. The Moon, the Sun, the Angel, which is Judgment, and the World. That's such a beautiful card for the World. I really love it. You see, I really like the fact that the cards in the I Am the Artist Tarot are wider, because in this case you can actually have a better view of the image, and it doesn't take much. Like, it's not a massive difference, as you can tell. Well, half an inch probably, but what it does is it gives you the right perspective. I think it's really a winning choice. Oh, and by the way, I was meant to show you before, obviously I forgot. So these are the backs, slightly different in color. I think the design is pretty similar, but these ones have borders and these ones are borderless. Okay, so now we're going to see the new cards, basically, because this one has got 80 cards. So I'm just going to quickly have a look at the guidebook, the Major Arcana. So after the World, we've got the untitled one. Yeah, makes sense, because it doesn't have a title. And the book says, create your own change, authenticity, generate surprises, change through creative action, change artist. Amazing. I love that. I love that concept. I love the fact that there's, again, the color quest symbol in there. There's a lot of symbology that you can work out, but it's really inviting you to be the artist. So Ace of Rods. So these are the minor arcanas. I'm just gonna go a bit quicker, not to stay here forever. There you can see one of the, I think it's the first change in which you, in the original, in the Sakki Sakki Tarot, didn't have a head. The character doesn't have a head, and in the new one it does. And again, in the Five of Rods, we've got pretty much the same kind of setting layout, but we have characters with heads. We also don't have the title at the bottom, although it is quite clear that this is the Five of Rods. Six of Rods is quite similar. The Seven of Rods, again, this one has a head. I love that 70s styles. Eight of Rods, again, Nine of Rods with a head. The Ten of Rods used to have a head as well, but as you can see, it's slightly changed, it's slightly different. I really like this interpretation of the card. I absolutely like this color, which is finally my favorite color. It's the teal, blue or green that I was talking about. So there is my favorite color in the deck. Thank you, Monica. Page of Rods, Knight of Rods, Queen of Rods. I love the fact that some of the faces in the I Am the Artist are actually more expressive somehow. See, even this one, I think, the King of Rods. And now the Cups. So we've seen this one in the booklet, in the guidebook. That's beautiful. I really love the Three of Cups. By the way, it was the International Women's Day yesterday, and I saw a lot of people posting their favorite Three of Cups. Honestly, I think that this is probably one of my favorite Three of Cups. I really, really love that card. I love the colors, I love the design, I love the, you know, the artwork, the association, the diversity. It's beautiful. The Four of Cups, again with the head. This I was hoping she wouldn't have changed the Five of Cups. I think it was probably one of my favorite cards. I don't know, it's just beautiful, this cloaked figure, you know, in black and blue, and pointing at the cups that are down, and not realizing that behind it there's this blue skies waiting for her. I really like this card. And the Six of Cups, the nostalgia, the Seven of Cups. It's beautiful. And the Eight of Cups is really nice as well. Not much change, but there are a few subtle changes in the line stroke that you can, you know, you can admire. And here it looks like the cloak is covering a bit more of the figure. Okay, this is a rather big kind of change. So in gender, I would say, in the Nine of Cups, which is very welcome, because you always see the Nine of Cups. To me, in the traditional RWS, the Nine of Cups looks like John Travolta. And I hope I didn't ruin it for you. Not this one, I mean really the traditional RWS. I really like that it's what looks to me like a female in this case. The Ten of Cups, beautiful. Page. The Knight of Cups. See, again, I think that even in this card, you can notice how the fact the cards are wider gives you a bit of obviously a wider perspective, but also as the proportions, I believe. It gives you the sense of being proportionately correct. Not that, you know, don't get me wrong, I really love the Sakki Sakki version. It's just a different one. It's a different way of proposing the artwork, and I just enjoy both of them. And then we've got swords here. Oh, I love this. I absolutely love it. Yes, absolutely. The sword to me is the pen, or the pencil in this case. I use my mind to write. I'm always, you know, thinking when I write. So it reflects what my concept is, what my view is of the suit of swords, the suit of the mind. The pierced heart, I'm not going to comment on that. It's not my favorite card. To me, the suit of the mind is always referred to the numerological interpretation of the tarot card, of the Tarot of Swords. I like the Four of Swords though. And the Five of Swords. It's beautiful. The Six with a head. The Seven. The Eight. The Nine of Swords. Again, slightly larger, gives you the possibility of a look at the details a bit more. And the 10. As you can see, the borders have changed color. They're not always consistent, you know, throughout the suits, but and it's absolutely fine. I like the combination of colors. So Page of Swords, Knight of Swords, Queen of Swords. It's my favorite card. I love it. King of Swords. And the coins. Again, the Two of Coins has got a head, and there's a couple of ships in the background. It looks like Vikings kind of ships. Again, a head. The Four of Coins as well. That's a beautiful one. I love this Five of Coins. It's beautiful. The Five of Wands is one of the cards I look into whenever I decide whether I like a deck or not. And to me, it signifies the being left out in the cold. You know, the being just isolated and exiled from society. That makes us feel miserable, but the thing is that we are not alone. I really appreciate some decks have only one person, and the card is sad enough. You don't need to, you know, face misery on your own. I love the Six of Coins. Really beautiful. The association between the bodies without the head and the bodies with a head kind of gives you a different perspective on the tarot, don't you think? I think it's because when there's no head, you don't really know what the, and it was done on purpose, you don't really know what the character is thinking. And it's not a pun, actually. I actually meant to say that way. But then when you do have a head that has been, you know, put on top and assigned to this particular figure, it's a beautiful bond that you create with the figure, with the character on the card. And that's, you know, mind-blowing, because I actually did not know that these two, I don't know why, but these to me never really looked like people. And now that I see that they've got heads, I actually see the arms. Yeah, you never stop learning. And the Seven of Coins, that's beautiful, nice change of color. The Eight of Coins. Again, now you can tell what the artist is thinking, and it's beautiful because you still have your own possibilities in front of you, you still have your own creativity going on for you, but you also have the perspective of the artist. Nine of Coins. I love that she's got a camera. Awesome. The Ten of Coins. Page. Knight. Queen. And King. And I know that there's a couple of more cards here. So we've got the Observer. I think there was in this, let's have a look. So in this here, and obviously also in the book, but I've got this one more handy. So the Observer is your primary inspiration, is your reality. You create a reflection of what you see. Absolutely. So you go from the empty stage of the artist to the person on the stage of the observer. Makes sense. And then we've got the Visionary. Your primary inspiration is your imagination. You see it before you create it. And I love that the character has their eyes closed, because you see it with the third eye in your mind and your heart. And the last one is the Inner Muse. Your primary inspiration is your creative urge. You create it before you see it. Fantastic. It bounces back and forth between observing, visualizing it, and creating it, which is really a strong part of the creative process, at least for me. I really enjoyed this deck. Let's have a look at how I read with it. First of all, I wanted to show you a couple of pairings with oracle decks that I think have or share similar energy or vibes, and also in some cases also the aesthetics with this tarot. Now this is the first time that I use the I Am the Artist tarot, but I have been using the Sakki Sakki Tarot for a long time, and I just based my choices on the way in which I was using the Sakki Sakki Tarot combined with oracle decks. I kind of hope that this new tarot pairs well with those oracles too, but we'll have a look. This is completely, you know, a premiere, so we'll see if the choices that I made are good ones or not. Let me know what you think. I'd love to have an interaction in the comments below. So the first one that I'm using is the Amethyst Oracle by Jessica Bott. She's the creator of the Botanical Tarot. Unfortunately, this is out of print. It's a really beautiful deck, not very big as you can see. What I do appreciate about this deck is that it's really, it's a very earthy kind of deck, really earthy vibes. Coincidence is the first card is actually Earth. But it's I use it with my other earthy kind of tarot decks, like the Forger's Daughter, for example, even though I believe that when it comes to the aesthetics, there is a much stronger bond between these two. But let's have a look at how they establish a conversation with each other. So we got Earth between the artist and the Ace of Cups. As you can see, the colors are similar. They can be the same, obviously. It's also because the I Am the Artist Tarot has got a very wide, let's say, color palette. I think it's called color gamut. I used to study these things. So time between the Fool and the Devil. Time is indeed between the Fool and the Devil. Autumn between Magician and the Six of Cups. Autumn gives me sometimes those vibes of nostalgia. Winter between the Mentor and the Eight of Cups. Secret between the Observer and the Hanged One. Silence, which is my favorite card of the Amethyst Oracle, which is, as you can see, it's painting, it's showing the Northern Lights, which is something that I've seen a couple of times, 2-3 times, and I really, well, it was overwhelming. It was so beautiful and so intense, emotional, that it was a very overwhelming astronomical phenomenon. And we've got it here as in Silence, which is absolutely perfect, because it is generally so cold when you watch the Northern Lights. I was 600 kilometers north of the Arctic Circle when I've seen them, and it was so cold. It was, I think it was minus 22 Celsius, which is really freezing. And you don't even have, it's so cold that you don't even have the energy to talk. And why would you? Because the spectacle is so amazing. Where they're dancing in the sky is just out of this world. Between the King of Coins and Temperance, I like the association of Temperance, because Temperance to me is that kind of a dance between the reestablishing of the balance and the dance of the water from one cup to the other, the continuous flow, which is to be seen in the Northern Lights as well. I'm liking this combination. What do you think? It's not just a color palette that clearly establishes a conversation. The artwork is not dissimilar. It doesn't crash. And I definitely feel this kind of an earthy vibe coming from both of the decks. So let's have another one just to see. So empty between the Page of Cups and the Priestess. I really enjoyed this pairing. So let's have a look with another deck. So the second oracle deck that I want to try and pair with the I Am the Artist Tarot is When My Soul Whispered Oracle deck by Melissa Selvaggio. I think that this deck will pair well, because sometimes you don't necessarily need to pair up the same kind of aesthetics, as I said before. And what struck me about the I Am the Artist Tarot, which is the same thing that is striking me about the Sakki Sakki, was the fact that it's a very busy deck, in the sense that you have a lot of elements, you know, a lot of combination of colors in the cards. There's a lot of line work, there's a lot of work and symbology that goes behind the creation of these decks. So I thought, what about pairing it with an oracle deck that instead has a lot of emptiness, empty spaces, which is, you know, conducive of kind of a flow between the cards of the oracle and the tarot. I think that would be the end result. So let's have a look. So we got Abundance between the Knight of Swords and the Nine of Rods. I'll just pull a few more cards from here. So Expectations between the King of Swords and the Three of Rods. I think I really like it. I think that there's a kind of a introspection. There's the opportunity for creating the introspection that you need in order to establish this flow between these two decks. I really like the fact that the emptiness or the whiteness of or the simplicity even of the When My Soul Whispered Oracle is actually kind of creating the kind of bridge that you need between the symbology and the busyness of the tarot cards on the sides. Desire between the Six of Swords and the Two of Rods, which is amazing. I think that everyone has been in this situation before, haven't we? That we look at our world and we see that everything that is around us is becoming small and smaller and smaller, and it's not enough for us to actually participate in that fiery energy that is brought about with the Suit of Rods, so Suit of Fire. So we're driven by this desire, but in some cases it's a hardship, it's a difficult journey, the one in which we embark upon. Although we do know by the essence of the Six of Swords that there will be something good to come in our lives once we accept to go into that journey. Decision between the King of Cups and the Sun. I really like the fact that, yes, perhaps the aesthetics are not 100%, but as you can tell, the simple style of the oracle actually pairs well. We end up pairing well with the tarot because of the few colors that you have, and you can always find a corresponding color. Like for example, the Communicate card here has got these kind of blues that resonate for sure in the Ace of Swords and the Angel card. So communicate within the Angel Swords, the Ace of Swords and the Angel. And boundaries between a Queen of Cups and the Two of Cups. Perhaps this relationship needs to be defined, and that's the way you define a healthy relationship, is whenever both of you are aware of the boundaries the others need. So being communicative. Confidence between the Knight of Cups and the Queen of Rods. Again, there's always a few elements that really resonate, and there's echoes in the cards you can find, for example, in the symbols here. And the last one, we've got grounded between the Seven of Swords and the Four of Cups. I really enjoyed this combo. I think it's probably my favorite one so far. What do you think? Another deck that I want to pair with the I Am the Artist Tarot is the Literary Witches Oracle by Sakki Sakki and Kathy Horan, sorry. Now, this deck, I used to pair it with the Sakki Sakki Tarot all the time. I have to say though that I'm only using the cards related to the characters, so the literary witches, instead of the familiars. So I actually separate the oracle deck into 2 parts, and I do not use the prompts for the familiars when I use it in combination with the Sakki Sakki. Let's have a look if it works with the I Am the Artist Tarot too. So the way I use this is for creative process, creative triggering that creative stimulus that you need as a writer, and I think that the process behind creation is very similar between you know, artist, visual artists, let's say, and artists of the word, so writers. You find yourself in a situation in which you may not necessarily have writer's block or artist block, but you have tried several different roads and nothing was really working for you, so you're kind of back to square one. And whenever I find myself in that kind of situation, I always use these 2 decks, or the Sakki Sakki with this oracle, because I feel like there's always some kind of prompt coming up for me, and it always seems to be working. So I really love the fact that the oracle deck has got not just the name of the the artist or the author on the card, but also a keyword. in this case, not even planning it, but look at how similar these two figures are. That's amazing, isn't it? So we've got justice between the Empress and the Ten of Rods. I am blown away by how well these two pair together. Just by the first couple of cards, it's like, oh my god. And family between the Lovers and the Knight of Rods. Again, I tend to look at directionality as well whenever I see it at play in the spread that I've got in front of me. Healing between the Four of Swords and the King of Rods, for sure. That's the healing that is much needed in a situation in which you have depleted so much energy, but also because the Suit of Swords is a suit of the mind, and I know very well what it means to be completely stuck and just needed some rest. So the Soul between Page of Coins and the Five of Cups. That's such a beautiful, there's a really lovely conversation that is taking place between these two decks. Fantasy between the Ten of Coins and the Page of Rods. Community between the Three of Swords and the Six of Rods. I really like that there's so many echoes between the cards. This is very conducive of an intuitive kind of reading as well, if you know what I mean. Obviously, we all know the meanings of the cards, and the I Am the Artist Tarot is pretty much based on the RWS, as you can see, for example, from the Eight of Rods. But whenever, you see, that's the reason why I like to pair it with oracle decks, because I find different way of reading the message behind the tarot cards, and I find different ways of creating this kind of conversation and get the flow going. And another one, Fate between the Eight of Coins and the Three of Cups. This is definitely my favorite card for the Three of Cups. So these two decks, again, a really mind-blowing combo, I believe. Really surprising, but I also kind of knew it because I used to use this oracle deck in combination with the Sakki Sakki Tarot. And this combo is going to be lots of fun. It's with the Dia de los Muertos Oracle with Wisdom from the Departed Beloved by Kelly Sullivan Walden, artwork by Emily K. Grieves de Reyes Contra. I think these two will pair really well together. It's got that kind of vibe, this oracle. It's a relatively new oracle. It's been published by Blue Angel. And it was a completely random find because I was going through one of our retailers and I just saw it on sale, and I thought, you know, I love everything related to the Mexican culture, the Latin American culture, and the Dia de los Muertos in particular, so Day of the Dead. And when I saw it, I immediately thought this deck is going to pair really well with the Sakki Sakki Tarot, and that's what I've been doing. So I've actually been pairing it with the Sakki Sakki, but now that I have the I Am the Artist Tarot, I want to try and see whether it still works. So we've got the traditional elements and names associated with the Dia de los Muertos, and in some cases I cannot pronounce them. So you will excuse me, I will just say the number of the card, which is number 14, with the Six of Rods and the Page of Swords. Obviously, in this case, you will need to use the guidebook, which is actually kind of fun as well for the Dia de los Muertos. Bebida, I know that, it's a drink. Between the Lovers and the Four of Cups, absolutely. I mean, there's such a recurrence between the element of the liquid element, let's say, and the cups, you know, between the Bebida and the Four of Cups. And it's also reminiscent of the kind of concept of choice brought about the cards, the Lover cards. So the paper picado is an artistic way of shredding or cutting into paper. I used to do it as a kid all the time. I think you have to fold it several times. If you take it in A4 sheet, for example, color ones, and you fold it several times, and then you just cut out, you know, at an angle, bits and pieces, and then you open it and it looks like this. And there's an art to that, because I don't think I was making art when I was a kid, but it was so much fun. And it's one of the activities related to this particular festivity. I like that it's between two sword cards, because it's definitely got that sense of, you know, cutting out, you know, excising, removing. So this is a goddess. Sorry, I'm not going to try and pronounce that, but I really like the fact that there's, again, this kind of resonance between, you know, the intensity of these two characters in the cards, between the Queen of Rods and the goddess here. And this is the Angel of Death, between the Moon and the Ten of Rods. Again, such a beautiful resonance and echoes between these cards. Do you think it creates a conversation? I think it does. I think it's a very subtle one, but it's one that obviously these two decks do not share the same background or cultural background, but this is to show that they don't need to. I believe that especially when it comes to a tarot deck, for example, you do have some universal meanings associated to the cards. And when it comes to an oracle deck, even though it's a very specifically cultural oracle deck like this one, it can still be associated with a tarot. And when everything else works, everything else falls into the right place, then it's a beautiful combination. So maybe just another one. These are the ancestors between the Hermit and the Knight of Cups. Absolutely beautiful. I'm very happy about this pairing too. So now we're going to have a look at a spread. So I put the bookmark on the spread set and the spread section. Here we go. So I was really curious about this 3-card spread. So as you can see, you've got 3 columns, A, B, and C, and several words. And this is inviting you to choose your own and assign, let's say, your own different meaning to each position in the spread. So obviously you've got 1, 2, and 3 corresponding to A, B, and C. But then you can probably jump from body to advice to satisfaction or something like that, you know what I mean? So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to have a look at these 3 columns and see something that really calls to me. Past, body, issue, beginning, choice A, short-term, feelings, wish. Oh, definitely wish, absolutely. So A, the position number 1 is going to be wish for me, and then present mind, advice, situation, thought. Oh, let's go with issue or situation, perhaps. Let's go with situation. So wish, situation, because I like to read it this way. For me, the central column is always referring to either the issue or the situation or the present. And then C, future spirit, outcome, and action, manifestation, or custom, this one, result. I'm gonna go with result. Am I boring? I'm probably boring. So wish, situation, and result. Let's have a look. So I have pre-shuffled this because, as I said many times before, I have small hands and I look really goofy when I shuffle a deck. Okay, so I'm going to set my intention. Okay. So we said wish, situation, and result. So let's go for it. Okay. I do see that. Oh, it is absolutely spot on for me these days. Situation, yeah, absolutely. And result. Okay. So basically what I can immediately see here is my wish is to rest and recharge. And I think I've said that in my last video, or maybe the video has not been posted yet, but in one of my latest videos, when I go through the decks that I'm choosing for March, I mentioned the fact that I feel completely depleted of energy. I've had 3 horrible years in which, you know, Saturn was in my sign, and it wasn't retrograde, but it certainly felt like it was for me. I've had a lot of stuff happening, and so now that it just, you know, I kicked it out of my sign and now it's in Pisces, I feel like I need to, I don't know, I just feel like I need to take a break and just ground myself, literally just ground myself, because I've been swept around by the events in the last 3 years, and now I really feel like I need to stop and take a deep breath and relax and rest. So this is my wish, absolutely. I could not have picked a better card to show you what my current wish is, and the situation is justice now. Justice to me is the card of balance, pretty much as the Temperance card is. It's the card of reestablishing the wrongs, you know, bringing back to the right. If during the last 3 years, the situation was definitely more heavy on one side than it was on the other. There was absolutely no balance. Let's put it this way. Not to talk about the fact that I also had some legal matters when my dad passed away. So there were a couple of things that refer to this card and to the seriousness of the card. I feel that in this position, telling me what the situation is right now, it's obviously telling me that after 3 years, I will see a kind of rebalancing of the scales, which is something I really look forward to. And but the result is this bit of a juggling. So what I do like about this card, though, in this position, is that the 2 of coins brings about the idea of, yes, you're kind of juggling a situation, but it's between 2 good things. You know, it's not the 2 of swords. You're not stuck blindfold and not knowing where to go. You're juggling between these 2 things, but they are good things for you, and that's definitely what I want to find myself, you know, having so much goodness in my life that I literally cannot decide which one to pick. I really enjoyed doing this spread. There's other spreads as we've seen before, and it's going to be so much fun getting to know this deck, getting to use it for myself, for clients. I'm really looking forward to dig deep into the guidebook as well. So thank you so much for staying with me till the end of this video. This was a presentation of the I Am the Artist Tarot by Monika Clio Sakki, and a full walkthrough of the 78, actually 80 cards, and a comparison side by side with the Sakki Sakki Tarot. If you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe to my channel. It will mean the world to me. I really want to reach a base of subscribers such that I can actually start doing live, and because to me the most important thing is not to be by my own, but by myself, but actually establish a bond, establish meaningful connections within the tarot community. And so yeah, more to come. Have a great day.